Soul Eater was an anime of all time. It's got the action, it's got the attitude, it's got the lackluster ending, but regardless, we wanted more. Nobody wants their favorite show to be nerfed. And so we waited until 2014 came around when we got Soul Eater Not, a spin-off series that follows 3 girls who enroll in the Death Weapon Meister Academy, or DWMA for short. Students are either weapons or meisters and form partnerships in order to defeat evil spirits and witches to maintain peace in Death City. Where the original show was this dark shonen battle series, Soul Eater Not attempts to have a more light-hearted and slice-of-life approach, as shown in its new art style, which could be a real hit or miss. We went from these dark tones and characters with attitude to more lighter and bubbly. Everyone looks okay, I guess, except for Soul. It looks like my mans hasn't slept for weeks. He used to look so cool and now he just looks sad. What surprised me the most was that this was still animated by Bones. It wasn't bad per se, but I'd be lying if I said it wasn't spotty at times. Like, what the f is that? But it's fine. Bones isn't known for slice of life stuff anyway. At least the story's decent, right? Tsugumi was just a normal girl until her weapon powers awakened. She then decides to enroll in the DWMA, where she meets 2 other meisters, Mei and Anya. After a brief exchange with another pair of students, Tsugumi is stuck deciding between Mei and Anya to be her partner. Much of the focus is on Tsugumi, as we see her try to navigate through her new life, while also finding out her purpose for being here in the first place. Was it because she just so happened to awaken these powers, or did she want to tackle something bigger than herself? Her lack of self-confidence causes her friends to get hurt, and she feels guilty for not being able to protect them. But she has a willingness to change that side of her as we see her try to understand people like Kim and the Thompson sisters. Unfortunately, we don't get much from the other 2. Mei is a ditzy airhead and has a really bad memory for whatever reason. She also has a huge pair of to which the director takes full advantage of. Whether or not you appreciate that is up to you. Anya, on the other hand, is a tsundere princess who has an interest in what the common folk do, like spending all your money on useless junk, and getting rid of a royal family crest which apparently wasn't important and was never brought up again. Despite being part of the main trio, Mei and Anya got very little development. Compared to Tsugumi, both of them seem to have their shit together for the most part. They're the ones who often push and support Tsugumi, but I would have loved to see them have their own mini arcs. So if the characters weren't good, then what about the plot? Soul Eater Not is primarily a slice of life show, but it does have a darker mystery lurking behind in the background which, it wasn't anything special and was even kind of jarring at times. We'd go from super happy-go-lucky to, oh yeah, by the way, this also happened. See the blood? Yeah, we mean business. To be fair, it did give Tsugumi and the others motivation to become stronger, and it did kind of clear up Mei's memory loss, but it just felt disconnected from the rest of the show. It was trying to be like the original, but it's not. That said, I do think the show is at its best when it is doing the slice of life stuff. It's only after watching it a few more times for this video that I've grown to appreciate it, and at times, it can be funny and sort of deep, despite being formulaic. Like when Eternal Feather was trying to sell her own clothes that she was coaxed into buying because of Kim, or when Clay was trying to clear up a misunderstanding about Akane. And of course, Stein is still doing Stein things. Ironically, the best part of the show wasn't even from the show. We would get cameos from the original cast, with some of them having minor supporting roles. Kim and Jacqueline in particular have had their characters more fleshed out. In the original, they just sort of showed up in the middle of the series. But here, we find out that Kim is actually a witch, and became distant from others because of the backlash she'd received from students. Jacqueline has an infatuation with Kim, and after learning the truth, she becomes her partner to protect her secret. This show also furthers the world building. Soul Eater Not's redesign gave the Halloween-like setting a more modern feel. There's the main plaza, which is really just one giant bazaar with shops and vendors, and the girls live in this fancy dorm. There's also more of a focus on the school aspect, as 90% of the students are enrolled in the Not class, designed to help train weapons and meisters and offer more general education. Then there are the 10% who are in the Eat class, where students are allowed to take on missions to hunt evil spirits. The reason why the students are held at such high regard is because the academy itself is known as the World Police, with many of its graduates involved in political circles around the world. Even the allowance given to students is being evaluated to assess their quality. It's little things like this that build upon what we already know and made me appreciate the setting even more. It's also interesting to see how this all fits in the whole continuity of the show. It acts as a prequel and transitions quite smoothly to it as well. Does this mean you should watch this before the original? No. Although it connects a couple of pieces, the details I mentioned are pretty minor in the grand scheme of things, but can be appreciated nonetheless. Soul Eater Not was an interesting take on the series, to say the least. It clearly wasn't meant to be something big, but all it did was make me want to go back and watch the original, which is what I ended up doing despite wanting to review this show as its own thing. It's kinda sad that even after 14 years the anime ended, the only thing we got was this pretty lousy spin-off. But it's great to see the fan base still alive and kicking, hoping for a reboot of some sort. Let's just hope it doesn't turn out like Shaman King.